So, it's the last day of April 2017 and let's have a look around the allotment. I'm going to go quite in depth. This is our shed, our big shed. Now we've had issues with this shed because it's not a bought shed, it is a construction out of at least 2 or 3 sheds, so it's a makeshift design, if that makes sense. And last year we had water that came in at the roof on that side, and it started coming down, and the problem is that we had stuff in here like compost, and what did we have? We had some lime at some point for some reason. We had all sorts, and the problem is that it will get damaged by the water. So last year we redid the roof completely. You can see that's nice stuff up there. We took it all off, put new stuff on. It is literally just wooden panels and covered with the roofing material there. This winter we've discovered another problem, and that is that there is actually water coming up through the floor. This thing is not windproof or waterproof, and because that is sort of like you can just push the panel out, although you can't push it in because it locks into place from the outside, if that makes sense. But as the wind often blows across here, a lot of water gets through there, and at the back we have in fact found some dry rot. Now there are 2 proposals as to what to do with this shed. The first one is that we may have to replace it. We may have to destroy what's here and put on another one. That is an expensive possibility. The other possibility is that we should maybe tackle the damp rot as best as we can now and wait for a few years for this. Out here we've got the patio where my nan will be able to sit and pot up flowers, and along the patio here we've got a trellis. Now the idea is that we plant 2 things. We're going to put a rambling rose probably here to come up there, and we've already got our clematis in, which will come up here. The 2 will engulf this structure very quickly, 2 years possibly, and then they're going to want to go somewhere else. Now I did suggest perhaps we could train it over onto the roof. These plants are vicious and nasty things, they really are, which is why we're keeping them in pots. They are indestructible once they get established, absolutely indestructible, monstrous in their growth, and they are a step down from ivy, which means when it hits a structure like this, it will not just engulf it. Over a period of about 5 years, it will become it. It will start growing through cracks. It will do everything, but what it will do is hold the structure together. That's my idea, and it's based on the fact that it will be a 5 or 6 year project at least. But if we can treat the damp rot down there, it will give this place life for another sort of 20 odd years, I suppose. Although it will be covered in clematis and rambling rose and stuff like that. Who knows what we'll actually decide. In here we mainly have our bits and shits that we use all the time. So you've got things like that, which are the pegs to peg in netting and fleece. You've got all the watering cans, the knee pads, the gloves, the material to make paths, which is sort of like weed-proof stuff if you're not going to put down stone. And of course we've also got the toys for the children, who occasionally like to come and sort of mess around in the dirt. We've also got here the sticks that we use to make the wigwams to sort of hold things up, and right at the back we've got our strimmer, and I think that's about it really. As I say, it's all a bit make, do and mend. These things are not they're not top notch. I mean, look at this, it's rusty, it's bent, but it does the job. And that's the story of our allotment really. We do have a lot of money invested in it over time, but it's not the sort of thing that you can, come down and rob, for example. There's nothing here of high value at all. What it is that we've put a lot of work and a lot of money sunk into it in terms of plants, and you know, it's given back. It's given back over the years. We've had all sorts of harvests. We've had more food than can fill a chest freezer, so we must be doing something right. Because we're not made of money, the allotment is the sort of thing that grows each year, and this bit here is a patch that is still largely undeveloped. Now let me explain. When we moved in to this place, gosh, about 4 years ago, something like that, there were 3 nursery beds here, and what we did was we removed them, and you have a flower bed which is over here. And the reason the flower bed is over here is because my nan will be sitting here potting up, and it's her sort of favourite flowers that are sort of dotted around here. We've got a lavender border which is beginning to grow a bit straggly. After a couple of years it does get a bit wooden, so we may have to plant more in between to fill the cracks. Dahlia over there, nice purple dahlia, although they're not doing much at the moment, which is fine. Alstroemeria, which is her favourite flower, you can see are back budding. There's 2 sets there, and we've got a saxifrage here because it's nice pink and it just takes over the whole universe. This has grown exponentially. I think I planted this about 2 years ago as a small pot, maybe about that size, and it's, you know, quadrupled its size. So that's for my nan, and the first nursery bed was basically here. We got rid of that. The second one was about here, and we've replaced it mainly with the patio. And the third one was along here, and this is where we've got our trellis. The idea originally was to put decking in this area here, and to put on a what do you call it? A greenhouse, that was it. The problem is, with a greenhouse, you need to be down every day to open and close it. Otherwise, just like planting stuff that belongs in a greenhouse outside will kill it because of the cold, if you leave stuff in a greenhouse which isn't ventilated properly, it all dies because of the heat. So we did scrap that idea, and so this area is still up for development, and what we're going to do is we're going to turn it into a legumes bay, because at the moment our legumes are taking up room in our rotational bay, which we don't need. So imagine the scene with trellis extending around there against the shed, and possibly a trellis sort of in between, and you'll have peas, beans, all sorts. We're going for Monge 2, sugar snap peas, shelling peas, broad beans, runner beans, French beans, you name it. They will be in this area, but not this year because we haven't had time to sort that out. We've only in fact just got the patio done, which we're very pleased with, very pleased indeed. And we've got the first of our climbers, the clematis here, which is, you know, we covered it in fleece and we have had a little bit of damage still. That to me looks like drought, maybe possibly wind damage, I don't know, but it still looks like it's got healthy bits on it. So we're hoping, now it's May, we've removed the fleece, we're hoping the wind won't kill it. What else have we got down here? We've got our pinks from last year. We really need possibly in this pot that's not being used, one of my cherub pots, some marigolds at some point. This one is horseradish, and that one is garlic. Again, no signs of anything from them yet. And this one is my primula bucket that seriously needs to be deheaded. When you take off the old dead flowers, the new ones come back, but we've got a few in there. Now, oh, by the way, that is the pot for the rambling rose, or whatever goes into that space there for this side. And this is where the magic takes place. This is our veranda on the side of our shed, and we sit here and we have coffee. And if you look around the back of the shed, we've got an outdoor sort of area where we keep stuff. We've got these, which came from a cold house, and you can just put it over the ground to warm it. We've got these, which are wire racks, which do very well for young seedlings, which the birds will peck at, but that aren't going to stay long enough for us to need to put netting down. So there we are. Our secondary shed here, this tin shed, was given to us by the committee. It used to hold stuff that the committee might use, so a barbecue, stuff like that, but they took that all away, moved it somewhere else, and they gave this to us. And the stuff that we have in here is mainly netting and fleece. And when I mean netting, we mean all sorts, from this sort of plastic netting to the steel chicken wire, and you can see at the back there the fleece. You know, we like to tidy it out maybe once a year. We didn't do that this year. Also here we've got a stock of wood that we use. A lot of these beams will probably be used as the supports, like you've got here, for the trellises that we put in the area here when we develop it for our legumes bay. So it's about reusing stuff, because we don't have a lot of money to go buying all this sort of stuff from scratch. We have to use what we've got. I hasten to add, that water butt actually is my parents'. When they sold their old house, it came down here and it's never moved back. So I'm not sure what is going on with that. But at some point that will vanish, I think. Along here is my spring bank, which is all that's left of an old poo bin that was on this part of the site when we moved in. And I was trying to convert that into a flower display when it was deemed to be a little dangerous, possibly. I mean, I dispute that, but it was deemed to be a little bit dangerous with the fact that it was sort of corrugated iron, a little bit like sort of that. So we got rid of the dump bin and we put in these this set of proper sort of compost bins and poo bins. So we've got a manure pile down there, which is a bit grim. We've got the compost heap that's growing there, and another compost one here that we can actually use. But in front of it we had a little border which I like to plant stuff in. Now we have things like narcissus and daffodils and stuff, but they have more or less gone now. The next thing to come up is the summer stuff, and I don't know if you can start to see that there is a few bulbs. Where have we got one that I know is a... there we are, down there. That is a gladioli. A nice hollyhocks here, very lovely hollyhocks. It comes right up there. Wanted to put one in the other side, but then I realised I'd put some white saxifrage there instead. So, but I would like another hollyhocks in here at some point. And that basically goes all the way around the side here.